Canola School on RealAgriculture.com is supported by Bayer Crop Science.
Number one is moisture and electrical connections. That seems to be the biggest issue right now. We've got our customer base are pulling their air drills out and trying to get them running. There's a lot of moisture and electrical connections, and making sure those are clean and dry, and put some dielectrical grease in those connections will probably save a lot of problems down the road. Where each of the implements connect together, there's a major connection. Anytime we have an electrical box, whether it be a wedge box or whether it be a plug-in, that's where we want to look at. On our seed monitoring systems, we want to check those boxes as well. The other things that we want to do is on our air cart, let's pull our rollers out, pull these rollers out, just check, make sure they're not plugged with the moisture. Even if we're out seeding and we got fertilizer in our tanks, we get rained out. Before we start up, we should check those, make sure they're not plugged. Because if you get lumps in there, it's going to affect our seeding rate. Our seed, the same thing. Well, the studies that I've heard from Alberta Agriculture is that 4 to 5 mile an hour is your optimum seeding speed. Anything over that, you start get seed bounce, whether it's with the implement, with the shanks, with the discs, or whether it's just seed not being able to get covered up quick enough after you go over it at higher speeds. So again, it's going to be up to the individual producers how they determine what's the best. If you want everything to grow optimum, you want the best field conditions, you want the right speed, but as time gets a factor, we're just going to go for the averages again. With canola, one of the biggest things is static electricity. And whether it's a plastic tank like this one behind me or a metal tank, static buildup with canola will affect the metering rate. If you do suspect you have a problem with static electricity, just throw a chain on the back of the tank and drag a chain. Opening up wet ground with too wide of an opener is going to cause lumps in the field. Probably the narrower the opener, the better. The only concern with going with a narrow opener and trying to put too much fertilizer down at the same time you're seeding is you're going to get seed burn. So a couple of considerations: going to separate fertilizer placement or go with time release fertilizer would probably be the answer. If that's what we're looking at, is putting more fertilizer down, trying to do it all in one operation. Well, you could probably play around with your tire pressure somewhat. When you're in the field, a softer tire is probably going to get rid of the mud better than a hard tire. So those are some considerations you might want to try, but just be aware as your leveling tires get built up with mud, it's going to change your depth too. Just go over your equipment, make sure that it is leveled proper. Once it's leveled proper, then you set and then go.